Should we get straight in?
Why the shit not?
Why the shit not? Hello and welcome to Film Days Excellent Adventure, where we talk about all things rock and metal. I'm not Phil.
And I'm not Sheila.
No, you're not. This is true. These are facts.
I am also similarly not Dave.
This is true also. How you doing, man? What have you been up to?
Well, today I have got the basically the garden said I said, garden, what kind of cut do you want? And the garden said, just fuck my shit up. So
Yeah,
I went into my shed and got my petrol trimmer and took some bush down, trimmed my bush.
Petrol trimmer.
I got a petrol trimmer and a petrol mower because fuck electric cables when you're mowing stuff.
Yeah, but like petrol trimmers, isn't that? That's pretty hardcore for a garden of your size, isn't it? Mind you, I bet you get it done in fucking minutes.
Have you seen that fucking blackthorn out front of my house? It's a dick.
Under the window?
In front of at the far end of the garden. It's like garden.
Oh, in the back garden?
No, the front garden. The thing that separates me from the road is a blackthorn.
Oh, right. Sorry, I thought you meant, haven't you got something going right under your window?
Nah, just grass.
Fuck knows what I'm thinking about then.
I don't know.
Blackthorn.
Yeah. So I went and smashed that with my petrol trimmer and I mowed my lawn, and Catherine attacked the edges because that's what everyone seems to do in lockdown. But personally, I don't really like doing my garden at all. No, and I saw you doing yours the other week, and I was like,
I fucking hate it, man.
Yeah. But Catherine was like, we got to get this done on your day off, and I was like,
I don't want to be doing shit like that on my day off.
I don't want to be doing that ever.
When we moved, like having a garden obviously has its advantages, but when we moved, I was over the fucking moon that we didn't have a garden anymore. But we've been doing a lot of work, just like tidying it up, but they're all like one-off jobs, you know what I mean? Once they're done, they're done. I'll have to do it again in like 4 years, but I don't have to go fucking mowing shit anymore. Fuck that.
F that. Yeah, I enjoy mowing things when they're easy. So today wasn't so bad because it's been dry for a few like days or nearly a week even. But
yeah,
when it's got any moisture on it, trying to use any more on my lawn because there's clumps of it that are just so fucking thick, and it just, even the petrol mower, I'm razzing the tits off and it's just
yeah. You remember my old garden? Before we moved in the bungalow.
Yeah.
I had a petrol mower for that for a while because of the size of it. And it was a fucking nightmare. It just used to choke all the time. Like you say, the slightest bit of moisture on the grass, and the petrol mower's like, no, I can't handle it. Fuck you. And turn it off.
Yeah. Shit in it.
Fucking hate gardening.
Fucking grass. It's just fucking well-populated weeds, isn't it?
I don't like it. What else you been doing, man? What you been up to? What you been doing? What you been up to? I said everything twice.
Working and
me too.
Listening to metal and playing guitar and same shit that I have been doing. You know, we still can't go out. It's still bollocks. But I've seen pubs open and stuff, so that's a thing.
No way.
Yeah, I don't know how open they were. I don't know how they were operating, but I was driving home from work the other day and they were like people sat on the bank with pints of beer. So that's the thing.
I didn't know that was happening, man. I would have thought, oh, fuck it. What do I know? I was drinking yesterday. We went to a socially distant barbecue at Charlotte's house, Rachel's sister.
People frisbeeing burgers at you?
No, so Paul's built a bar in his conservatory. And it's big enough so if we each sat at one end of the bar, we were like 2.5 meters apart.
Right.
So me and Paul basically sat in there all day. And the kids, to be fair, the kids did play together, but I mean, it can't be helped. One of them's only 2, you know what I mean? So he's not going to give a fuck. But all the girls sat at a distance and that kind of thing. We were as distant as we could be and within regulations, because you're allowed to socialize with people now as long as you keep at a distance or something. I don't know the fucking rules, but Charlotte said she'd looked into it and we were following the guidelines and stuff. So whatever. But I got retarded levels of drunk. I was mentally handicapped levels of drunk yesterday. And so today
Congratulations.
I'm just drinking Pepsi Max today.
And how's that working out for you?
Oh, a cool, refreshing drink it is. I actually just got a tin of IPA out of the fridge and I was like,
no,
nah, better not. I mean, I'm not working tomorrow, so I suppose I could, but
I am.
I decided I'd be doing it just for the sake of it. You know what I mean? I was like, fuck it. I haven't done anything today except like fold washing and fall asleep over and over again. And just like watch movies and stuff. So it's
I'm
them days.
What was I going to say? Today, what have I done? Yeah, so I did the garden. I woke up and fed the animals and did some tidying. And I feel like I've done more stuff today. I feel like I did something else before the garden. Oh yeah. I watched that. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh yeah, man! I watched that last week.
It's good.
That's good, man. I enjoyed it. I really like the ending.
Yeah, happy ending. Good times.
Brad Pitt goes fucking savage.
Oh man!
God.
Oh, on the fireplace, just fucking
fucking hell, savage.
Yeah.
And that other girl, she gets it worse, man. The dog and
fire.
First he like breaks her nose. Then the dog just like tries to eat her alive.
Yeah. And when when the fucking pit bull's just sicking balls, that's awesome.
Oh man, I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed that film a lot.
Yeah.
It's a bit slow paced through the middle, but I did enjoy it. I liked it.
Yeah, well that's it. It was slow paced, but in a way that it's like, you know how like you're watching Quentin Tarantino films, you're always thinking it's going to turn fucking sour any minute now. And it never really does, but in a good way.
Don't you think his style of films has just changed so much from like my favorite film of all time is Reservoir Dogs. And that's like hyper realistic in terms of its violence and stuff. And it's very grounded in terms of the way they talk to each other and stuff. Then Pulp Fiction was a little bit more stylized.
Yeah.
But it was equally as gritty. And everything after that, I mean, Jackie Brown was along the same lines, but everything after that just seems to be like he did Grindhouse, and then everything since has been Grindhouse. It's all been exploitation films and stuff. Bollocks! And even Once Upon a Time in Hollywood has got that kind of mood to it. But I mean, I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing. It's just an observation. But
yeah, I do like it. I like it. I've liked everything I've ever seen by him.
Yeah,
which I think is everything at this point.
I think I've seen I mean, he's only done 9 or 10, hasn't he? So, but the Hateful Eight, I thought I enjoyed it, but that was really slow.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing. It was the same thing. It was like, 2 and a bit hours of just chilling, building up to something. But it wasn't like slow build to a crescendo. It was more like slog.
Yeah, yeah, it just all went off.
Yeah.
But like Wally Goggs was in it as well. Walton Goggins is the man. He's good in fucking everything.
I like his accent.
Yeah, man. I first saw him in The Shield. He was Shane in The Shield. It's good, man. It's not as good as The Wire, but it's along the same lines as being.
Yeah, see, both of them are kind of not my bag.
I didn't watch The Wire after. I don't know how long. I didn't see how it ended, but I'm aware of how it ended and stuff. And it was good, and I got into it, but it just why I never went back to it, I don't know. But it was a bit too heavy, I guess, to watch over and over, and for some reason I kind of slipped out of it. But it's a great show, and The Wire was The Shield was a bit like that in terms of how heavy it was.
Yeah,
but it's not as good, but it was a good show, and Walton Goggins, that was the first time I ever saw him in anything. Whenever he crops up in anything now, I think he's awesome. Hello, beautiful. My wife has just come to join in. Say hello, babe.
Hello.
Phil says hello.
Have you ever seen Justified?
That's the Timothy Oliphant one, isn't it? Where he's
Yeah.
like a sheriff or something.
Yeah, and Walter Goggins is the returning kind of like. He's not a bad guy in it. That's the thing. It's kind of confusing. He's a ne'er-do-well, but he's like.
Yeah, I get the impression because I never watched it. I remember you telling me about
It's
it. But I got the
it's really
impression he
good.
was like an anti-hero almost in it.
Yeah, it's really good. I enjoyed it a lot. Catherine's going to watch it again at some point. I'll probably join her with it.
Sorry, Mum. Rachel's just telling me. So Rachel's been, like I say, we've been doing jobs in the garden, and she's bought all these solar lights, just to brighten it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And she put, like you would Christmas tree lights, fairy lights. She's put those 2 palm trees in the garden. She's put them all over that.
Right.
And she didn't like how they were sitting in one tree, so she pulled it all tighter and like wound it differently the other day. But I thought she'd pulled something loose because that day she did it. That night she was at work, and I texted her. I was like, "You fuck your lights, baby. They just don't work anymore." So she's bought some more today. They just turned up, and then it got dark, and the old ones turned back on. So she's just looking now. Did you say they are on? Oh no, they're fucked. They've turned off again. Oh well, at least you got the others.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
I forgot to stop the recording last week, so
no way.
So when I'll have like 6 hours of fuck all to download, probably.
Well, he's done it. It actually came out yesterday, the new episode. So we're recording on Sunday, the something of
17th.
May. Is it the 17th? And he texted me yesterday and said that one was out. Pardon me. I haven't listened to it yet, so I don't know what it's like. But I sent him all the time codes because I was having that fucking crazy headphone trouble last week.
Yeah.
And I sent him all the time codes for the edits, and I checked in with him earlier this week and asked if he was having any grief with the editing, and he said he's basically done it all. So he never mentioned that he had all that extra dead air.
I might actually, just while we are talking, I might just delete the old episodes because otherwise it's going to be filling up my shit.
Yeah, no one likes your shit being filled in.
Actually, no, it's all right. It's only half full at the moment, so fuck them.
Fuck them.
They can have some of my fucking chaff for a while.
They can take it like they're in prison.
And they'll enjoy it, and they'll beg for more.
They'll beg for more. I feel like we're really subdued today.
I'm really... I forgot we said we were going to record, if I'm 100% honest. And I've been eating sugar all day, so now I'm like crashing fucking hard.
I'm just fucking hungover. Not like in a way like I feel sick or I've got a headache or anything. You know what it's like where you're just groggy as fuck all day. And
kind of, but like, I don't really do hangovers now.
I
get sugar hangovers, but not from drinking.
Like I say, it's not like I'm hungover like I felt rough or anything, but I got up this morning, I felt fine. And within about 20 minutes of being up, suddenly I was really dizzy. And I was like, maybe I should spend today sitting down.
Yeah, and well, basically all I've done like you said, you got blackout drunk yesterday, so
yeah, I was smashed.
What have you been listening to?
It was like 12
David?
hours straight. Oh, dude, actually, do you know what? I'm glad you asked because I have been listening to a lot of stuff this week. Nothing varied at all. It hasn't been like, a few weeks back I mentioned I was hitting Billy Ocean pretty hard, and then fucking Despised Icon as well, completely different. And like last week, you were talking about Michael Bolton. It's just been all metal all week because I've let Spotify choose for me.
Yeah.
So like I'll put one song. So the story is very simple. Fit for an Autopsy have put out a new single, which I thought was weird because it's not on the last album, Sea of Tragic Beasts. That only landed in like October or November last year. It's not old. Well, they've just put out a new single. I didn't see the date. It could have been last month, but Spotify just told me this week they've put a new single out. And it's called For Tomorrow, I think. And I was like, oh, I'll listen to that. And don't get me, I mean, I'm a big fan, and I thought it was fucking brilliant. But then I was like, you know how if it's just one song, Spotify will just choose for you after that, basically like along the same lines.
Yeah.
And I didn't turn it off. And every time I got home from work, it'd be like, right, pause it there, and the next day I'd just take it up from the same place. So I had like 5 days of Spotify just randomly throwing bands at me, and it was awesome. So I listened to a lot of Thy Art Is Murder.
Yeah.
Upon a Burning Body.
I thought you weren't digging Thy Art Is Murder.
Do you know? Yeah, I was thinking about that myself. I think I have got the bands mixed up because when I first started looking into it, it was Gorsk who. So he was going to. It's probably been cancelled because I'm sure it was meant to be this month. He was going to see Carnifex with Thy Art Is Murder, and fuck, I can't remember who else. I can't remember who it was. He was going to see them, but I looked into. It might be Misery Index. I can't remember, but I looked into it, and one of those bands had like this electronic element that I didn't like. Carnifex were all right. And I thought, for some reason, I had it in my head it was Thy Art Is Murder, but everything that Spotify has thrown at me by them this week has been fucking mint.
Yeah,
and
man.
I didn't detect any electronic element in it at all. So I'm like, I've got this wrong somewhere, but that was really cool. I really enjoyed that. Upon a Burning Body wasn't bad. Make Them Suffer. They were a little, what's the word? I guess a bit simpler than some of the others. They weren't quite so techie or genty in places.
To me, the name kind of suggests that it's just punishing rather than technical.
Do you know? If anything, it was a bit new metal.
Really?
It's got some it's got some real spine shanky kind of sounds in places, and but yeah,
there's a bit of a resurgence of that kind of stuff. I mean, there's bands that call themselves or that like tout themselves as kind of modern new metal that aren't. I don't think necessarily, but then there is a lot of stuff that's coming out that's got that, definitely got that kind of stripped back, bouncy new metal vibe.
It's the only thing that makes me think new metal. I'm thinking very simple chord lines that are tuned down like to a drop D, and they're just repetitive, simple chord lines. But then after a section like that, it will get to a more riffy section. So it's not strictly new metal, but I feel like these bands are kids who grew up on new metal.
Yeah.
And it's got that influence to it. But that was, I mean, out of all the bands I've been listening to, Make Them Suffer was probably the one that I skipped the most. But Born of Osiris and Rings of Saturn came up quite a bit. Veil of Maya came up quite a lot.
I can't really do Rings of Saturn. They do a lot.
No, they're ones
it's all instrumental, isn't it?
No, they've got vocals on some, I think, but they. I feel like they're a band who are saying we can do this, so we should.
Yeah, it's very twiddly.
It's not necessarily there for the music. It's there so they can say this is what we can do, so this is what we do. And I'm not saying it's bad all the time, but you can't listen to it all the time, you know.
Do you know what I find? I find that's a massive problem with guitarists, but I'd never notice it as something that upsets me, particularly with drummers.
It's not something you hear so often in drummers, though, unless it's like a drummer's record, like Jason Bonham. That Disregard for Timing album that he did is insane. But I feel like because the drums are a rhythmic instrument, there's less to bog you down when you're listening to it. You're listening to a rhythm rather than a melody.
The time when I notice it most is stuff like Dillinger, where he's evidently a very proficient drummer. He was drumming in like the National Jazz Band and stuff like that. But
really,
yeah, but it's like ridiculous. It's off. There's too much for me going on to concentrate on a lot of the time. The older stuff, especially.
Yeah. Sixth gave that to me a bit. Like it's Sixth are great. But sometimes you'll be listening to it and you just can't wrap your head around what's happening. Like, I can't.
There's moments of it, yeah, I guess.
But yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, that Rings of Saturn thing. Remember when we talked about the fake guitar controversy?
Yeah.
Well, they were right at the forefront of that. They were being accused of a lot of it. And I've got to admit, when you listen to it, sometimes you can't help but think, this is I'm listening to Guitar Pro. This shit has got to have been programmed. It doesn't even sound like a pick attack. It doesn't sound like, if it has been programmed, there's a part of me that thinks it wasn't even programmed in a way that was trying to hide the fact it was programmed, like in terms of the velocities, the pressure being you know what I mean? Everything is exactly the same kind of volume. And
yeah, but I mean, you can do a lot of that stuff in post anyway. I get that. I think it's a lot less not playing it and programming it, because there's a sense of pride with a lot of guitarists anyway.
Oh, I agree.
I think a lot of it is more they'll edit it afterwards to an nth degree. They'll chop it, like not necessarily chop it up physically, but they'll have some kind of processor on that gates it, and the gate is synced up with quantize and stuff like that.
They put those brick wall limiters on them as well, don't they? So it's cut off at such a sharp moment.
Yeah, and
it's so in your face.
And they'll compress it so that it is just all the same volume.
Like we said,
it's doable
time,
without actually, doing it,
cheating,
clicking,
so to speak.
Without clicking in every pick.
Like we said when we talked about it last time, I'm nowhere near knowledgeable enough to say that definitively I think it is or it isn't. But listening to it a lot more this week on a recording rather than, watching him live or whatever, I can now more appreciate why people would think it was fake. There are moments when I was like, fuck me, that sounds so processed. It's unreal. But like you say, that could have been an intentional production decision.
Yeah.
So who knows? But I mean, to be fair,
I like to give him the benefit of the doubt more.
I would. I wouldn't like to think that there's anyone out there who is trying to make people think I am this much better than I am. I can't play it for real like that. So I record it slower and speed it up, or I just straight process it from the start. But to be fair, it's not music that I don't dig. It's just music that I don't dig as much as a lot of other music, And of all those bands that I was listening to, the ones that really stood out, to be honest, after The Burial came up once or twice, and I'm already a fan. Thy Art Is Murder, I really got turned on to them. Like I say, that was probably just because I was getting myself confused about what I was listening to last time. Veil of Maya, I like a lot. I mean, I already did like them, but I was listening to stuff.
Yeah, their guitar work, their drummer. That's just
it's their drums that really stood out to me.
Yeah,
they're
a band of like ridiculously accomplished musicians.
Oh yeah, but drum wise, what I really enjoyed about Veil of Maya was that there were moments when he shines, it wasn't like just an excuse to check it out. I've got this like 2 beats here where I can put in fucking anything I want because I'm awesome. It was more the song demands something here, and it wouldn't even necessarily be something that's mad, crazy, impressive. It's just the perfect choice for the song. I really liked that. Upon a Burning Body aren't bad. I'm familiar with them, but I wasn't like a huge fan.
I think I heard them a while ago, but I haven't listened to them properly.
They seem to be one of the lesser known of that kind of genre.
Yeah.
And but I'll tell you a band that did come up so it's a weird band for me because when their first record came out, Malevolence, they're from Yorkshire, actually. They're from Sheffield.
Molev, everyone loves them in Leeds.
They're fucking brilliant. Like, they're riffy as fuck. I don't know who is like the chief writer for that band, but the riffs, the dude is a fucking riff machine. He's just throwing the riffs out. And when their first record came out, I think it's called Reign of Suffering, the first one, that was like 2013 or something. But they're weird because they just disappear for years. You don't hear anything about them. And they did that record, it was good, but then you forget about them because you don't hear anything else. Then a new record came out called Self Supremacy. That was like 3 or 4 years after the first one, but I'd heard nothing about them since. And it's not like I've got my ear to the ground. You know what I mean? So it's easy for someone like me to miss that shit. But the second record came out, and again, you just forget all about them. Well, last month they dropped a single. Well, I don't know if you call it a single. Spotify have called it a single, but it's 3 tracks. And Spotify, normally a single on Spotify would just be 1 song.
Yeah.
But this is listed as a single, but it's got 3 tracks on it.
Right.
And I think it's called fuck me, Out of Time. I can't remember, but it's fucking brilliant again. So because that just came out, again, for some reason, Spotify didn't tell me until now, but it came out like 3 weeks ago. And I was listening to that this week as well. And that put me back to listening to, I didn't listen to Self Supremacy, but I went back to the first record and listened to that again. And it's cool, man. I really like them a lot. And I just wish that they were more present. They just seem to disappear for years at a time.
I like them to listen to, but they're one of those mosh bands that I can't go to a gig without wanting to kill everybody there. Not in the way that they want me to kill everybody there, in the way that everybody is irritating the fuck out of me.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those environments that I wouldn't enjoy being in.
It's that quote unquote hardcore scene that it's beat down music. It's not hardcore.
Yeah, I must admit, I've heard them described as hardcore before, and I'm like, that's
it's the modern interpretation of hardcore. There's a lot of bands like that are in that kind of scene. That it just goes from one beat down to another beat down to another beat down, and it's not in an Acacia Strain way, like that is ridiculously heavily thought out, and it's there's a little bit of complexity to it, but it's more about like just cool groovy heavy songs. It's more about that. It's more like just mosh music where it's just like, I don't know, I'll go from this bit where you want to punch yourselves in the face to the next bit where you want to punch yourselves in the face, kind of thing. I don't know. I like I say, to listen to, it's fun to listen to, but being surrounded by people at a gig is difficult for me.
I get the impression, because I've never seen them live, but I've seen live videos of them.
I was going to say, if you haven't seen it, check some videos out. It's just people swinging at each other. Like,
that's
not
it.
even.
I'd be the dude at the back. I'd be hanging at the bar just listening to it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be in that pit. I mean,
it's not even like the kung fu stuff. It's not like even people spin kicking at each other and stuff like that. It's people literally running around the outside of the circle, punching people in the neck, just running around and hitting. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And and it's always like that. Oh yeah, no. If you can't take it, just stay away from the pit. You shouldn't be in the pit.
Or just don't be a cunt.
Exactly.
Just don't be a cunt.
Exactly.
No one went to a gig to have fucking teeth knocked out.
Exactly.
It's Glenn Fripper, on Spectre Sound.
Yeah, Fricker.
Sorry, yeah, he did a video about it recently. There's a name for it. I can't remember what he calls it, but basically he said he was sick of that whole idea anyway, just like you were saying. But just recently heard about a girl who went to a gig and she was like a 17-year-old girl. Cold. Fuck me, man. You should have seen did you see the photos of her after the gig?
I think so, yeah.
She looked like she'd been fucking hit by a car. She was fucked up. And then there's a load of people like coming out in support for her, saying, if you want to go and mosh, that's fair enough, but that doesn't include fucking hitting women in the face. And then there's a load of other people saying exactly what you just said.
I've seen literally in front of my face. I was in Temple of Boom in town. Literally in front of my fucking face, there's this guy spinning around, like giving backhanders, and this lass just gets clocked out cold in front of my fucking face. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Why would you do that?
Fun.
And it was like a big dude as well, and a little lass getting fucking punched in the face.
I just hate it when they defend it by saying, well, if you can't, you shouldn't go to nights out like that.
If you can't stand the heat, get out the kitchen, man.
Oh, what the fuck? It's such a bullshit excuse for it. I've been in more pits than I can count. And I've taken a few knocks, but they've never been intentional.
No, it's just people like you expect a certain level of contact. It's a contact sport.
Yeah, but it's exactly contact. You don't expect a full-on fucking fist fight.
No.
And I feel like if you're defending, if you're trying to say to people that is not what this is about, you can't educate stupid, you know what I mean? And it's like, if these people have got that mindset, you're never going to get them out.
What is it? Daz always says you can't educate pork.
Those gigs, they make me feel a little bit uncomfortable, to be honest.
Yeah, which is why I tend to avoid them, and it's why they won't get my money, but that's fine, whatever.
Right, sweet. So, so what have you been listening to then?
Me, I have been listening to, so let's start at the far end.
Oh, cool. I feel like there's going to be.
I'm just going through my Spotify playlist of the last, I guess, probably about the last week it's been giving me this. So A lot of musicals on here. I've been listening to the Wicked musical, Waitress, Dear Evan Hansen.
Who's that?
It's called Dear Evan Hansen. The last two are musicals I haven't seen. I've just listened to. I listen to them quite a bit. And then Slayer. I put on.
Oh, what record?
I just put on all the Slayer. Just This Is Slayer.
Oh,
and
nice.
It was just going through all sorts of stuff. There's quite a lot of stuff off Repentless coming up, which is a record that I don't listen to a lot, but I appreciate it when it comes up on the dude.
I bet there is very little from Diabolicus in music.
I don't recall anything coming up from it, if I'm honest.
Yeah, because for some reason that album is like universally seen as the worst thing they ever did.
Still probably better than a lot of people do, but I mean,
if you ask me, it's better than the Christ Illusion. I thought the Christ Illusion was fucking gash.
Do you know the thing for Slayer with me? I like them to listen to, but it's kind of eventually it starts sounding kind of samey.
Yeah, totally.
But they sound like a thrash band to me. Like they sound like
fuck yeah,
the heavier elements of older Metallica.
Yeah, totally.
And it's like that's all they do. They don't do any of the less heavy stuff.
And they're relentless too. They've never changed that.
Exactly, they're like the AC/DC of thrash.
Pardon me. Oh yeah, completely.
And this is why I sometimes struggle to marry the dots with Megadeth, because Megadeth to me don't necessarily sound anything like that kind of thrash, and to me, like early Metallica, the heavier early Metallica stuff, and Slayer, that's the epitome of thrash, because the idea is that it's just bashing out chords and slamming solos over the top that don't necessarily even make any sense. Or you know, it's just there to kind of break up the monotony of the guitars.
Yeah, it's like I feel like Slayer have never been interested in melody.
No.
Ever.
No, they have the cool riffs, the atonal riffs, and
keep it atonal when the solos come in. Just fucking tap.
Yeah,
just play fast as fuck.
Just
Whammy.
Try it.
Yeah, over and like and
dancing
it's
around
all that
and
whammy
bend.
stuff.
Yeah,
there'll be crazy whammy stuff in it. But Jeff Hanneman, to be fair, was like the fucking king of that.
See, he did it well. Kerry King, I struggle to find points where I'm thinking he's actually thinking about what he's playing. I'm sure he's just like dancing his fingers around.
100%, and you can hear the difference between the two guitarists as well. On any given Slayer record, I reckon I could listen to it through and just like give you a cue when it's a Kerry King solo. Like you can tell it a mile off. And I'm not saying necessarily, I mean, that's his style, you know what I mean? So fucking more power to him. But
exactly. This is it. I mean, like I say, thrash. It's not. It's, in my head, anything that's not kind of 2 steps away from punk, heavy and fast, isn't really thrash.
I always struggled to find the thrash sound in Anthrax after like the first record.
Yeah, I get where you come from. Like stuff like Caught in a Mosh and stuff like that. That's obviously quite thrashy. But then there's a lot of the later stuff, and not even necessarily the later stuff, but there's a period where it started being more well thought out. And I don't mean that as a like derogatory term, but
well, I feel like even like going back to Megadeth, I feel like what they did was it's more standard metal, than thrash. Even when they do fast, it's very metal and melodic.
Yeah, like if you listen to something like Symphony of Destruction,
man,
you can't really call that a thrash song because there's nothing thrashed about it.
That's it. Hangar 18 has got sections in it that are like galloped, and stuff, but it's still not thrash.
Yeah, the solos, I would say, are the kind of the thing that kind of ties them to thrash, but everything else is just kind of like bluesy metal.
Which again, like you say, it's not a derogatory thing. It's just identifying, like, you know, who does thrash these days? I mean, they're not like one of the old school ones, but who does thrash these days that I would say is authentic thrash from a band that hasn't been doing it since fucking 85 or something is Gamma Bomb.
I was just going to say Gamma Bomb. That was literally who was on the tip of my tongue. Gamma Bomb and Municipal Waste. They do it really well
Municipal
as well.
Waste, yeah. Evil did it really well, I think.
Yeah, to me, it has to kind of sound like I said,
messy.
like it has to sound like it's 2 steps away from punk.
Yeah, completely. It's like take punk, but instead of just like bashing the chords, mute it a lot and put bigger widdly solos in.
Yeah, and that skank beat as well, so that Slade love on everything. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Yeah. Just all you need to play thrash is like a series of cymbals, the kick and the snare.
Yeah.
And that's it. You can get away.
So yeah, Slayer. The Book of Mormon. You know that I sent you songs.
Yeah, you sent me. Yeah, you sent me. I didn't actually listen to it yet because I was at a barbecue, as I say yesterday, and today.
Oh, you should treat yourself, mate. It's hilarious.
I might give it a crack later, actually.
Huey Lewis in the News. I had
fucking boss.
had it playing, and they released an album. Was it last year or this year? Weather, which is it's like the mellow stuff, you know, like Doing It All for My Baby and stuff like that, like the chilled out stuff. It's kind of like all that kind of stuff. The whole album, lots of kind of doo-woppy kind of moments. Yeah, it's nice to listen to. I prefer stuff like Sports and stuff where it's like.
I like my Huey Lewis to be, and I know it's a cliche, but I want to hear Back in Time.
Yeah,
I want to hear Hip Pretty Square. I want that pop.
Yeah, I want a New Drug as well. That kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, they're great at what they do.
Yeah,
they're another one of them bands who are just fucking overlooked now because they're 30 years old.
Yeah, but I mean, at the time, they were like considered the hardest working band in music because they were just like constantly touring. Just never.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were like that, but they were. So they'd obviously learn songs on the road while they were playing because they didn't have any time for downtime. So they'd be learning songs, playing them constantly. So by the time they were coming around to playing the big gigs, they were just so tight because they just played them. You know, we can get tight practicing a song in the background, but you'll know from experience that you don't know how it's going to work live until you play it live.
Well, that's the situation we're in now during a lockdown, isn't it? We've got material to learn, and we've had that long to learn it. I'm sure we all think we've got it fucking sewn up, but the minute the 4 of us get in a room together, it's not gonna sound polished until we've gigged it for a year.
Exactly.
But I guess if you're in a position where you are literally gigging the entire year, it's
all you're doing is getting tighter and tighter. Exactly.
That's it, man. They must have just been such a solid unit to see live.
Yeah, I mean, just watching them, there's this email chain that I'm on from this online magazine called Paste, and they do.
I know Paste.
I don't know if it's a physical magazine as well, but it's online, and they keep sending out things for concerts to sit and watch and entertain yourself while you're in lockdown.
Oh, cool.
And Huey Lewis was one of them. I forget what any of the others are off the top of my head. That was the one that really stuck out. It was just like kind of a small club gig. I say small, it was probably still like a couple of thousand or whatever, but it was a smallish.
Those are my favourites, man. I like the like if I'm going to see a band and it's like, who can I say? So I've seen Trivium, for instance, in arenas, and I've seen them in like an O2 environment, like an academy environment that's maybe, I don't know, 4,000 people, 5,000 people. And I much prefer them. Two of the best gigs I've ever been to were Mastodon at Corporation in Sheffield and Lamb of God.
I like Corporation
as well. Yeah, Corp's a great place. I don't even know if it's still going, to be honest. But yeah, Lamb of God and Mastodon in that place were both just fucking outstanding. Because you can hear everything, but you can see what's going on as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And you feel much more like you're part of a crowd, whereas in an arena you are part of a crowd, but the whole crowd is separate to the band because of how many people and just the separation between you and the band. When we went to see Leopard, that was an amazing show, but don't you think that would have been better without all the screens and the lights if you were just one of 3,000 people seeing him in a club.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a place for both, but I quite like, so if you're in a small venue and it's almost like I feel like there's more space for them to pick songs for the crowd rather than, because the bigger the crowd is, the more people you got to please, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there was that. I was listening to One Republic. I listened to their first album because
Are
I
they
like
the
that.
dudes who did Apologize?
Yeah, they did that. The one that got famous was the one that Timbaland produced. But there's a different version on the album as well, which I preferred the one that doesn't have Timbaland over the top going.
I heard one on TV. It wasn't like an album recording or anything, but it was just the singer with a piano, just like him on his own. No,
he's a talented fellow. He's got a lovely voice.
Yeah, it was a great. It was one of these where, like, I forget what show it was, but it was, like on the fucking X Factor and bullshit like that. They'll have someone come on and do a tune.
Yeah.
It was like one of them where he was just there to play a song, literally. It's not like he was interviewed afterwards or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it was really good, man. It was really cool. It just sounded more like that's how the song was written. Like he'd written it at a piano and it was in its natural state. And I'm not overly familiar with them as a band or anything, but
I like the first two albums, and there's bits off of the rest of the stuff that they've released, like a couple of singles that I'll be like, yeah, this is all right, but it's kind of not the same as it was when they first came out. Different stuff. But yeah, so there was that. And then obviously we've been listening to those two albums that you suggested, and that led me on to a different Red Card album, Fed Through the Teeth of the Machine, which came out in like 2017. No, it was early. It was early in that. It was like 2009, maybe.
Yeah, so for our main thing today, we're doing Umbra Vitae, Shadow of Life versus Clients by the Red Chord from, the Umbra Vitae won 2020, and Shadow of Life's like 2006. No, sorry, Clients is like 2006, I think.
2005.
2005, right? So that's, I know this is only like our third time doing this as a feature, but that's the oldest record we've looked at so far, I think.
Yeah.
Isn't it? But it's interesting you say that led you on to a Red Chord one, because it took me on to Converge.
All right.
Yeah, I was listening. I can't remember what record it was. It just came up on Spotify. I listened to this Converge record. And it's interesting because I'm just, like I said earlier, I'm just letting Spotify choose for me half the time. And it's interesting that did you choose the Red Chord, or did
it was, obviously I was already on Red Card, so I just went over to more Red Card. It was because I was like, hey, Clients is like, for me, metal wise, I know there's probably a lot of people who would disagree with this, but for me, it's probably up there. Like I would say it's, of its genre, it's one of the classics.
They're not. I'm never ashamed to admit that I'm not overly familiar with a band. You know what I mean? I don't want to, because we're doing a podcast about metal. I'm not going to pretend that I'm a fucking authority. I'm a truck driver that just likes metal,
Yeah.
So I'm not going to pretend I'm like a journo and I know every band that's mentioned and all the rest. But the thing for me is, because I've been into metal for so long, I might have heard of a lot of these bands and heard one or two songs, but they're not bands I've ever really spent any time concentrating on. And the Red Chord are just like that for me. They're bands I'm aware of, but when I suggested like my turn to pick this week, so I suggested these, but I said to you straight away, like, I can't decide between these two Red Chord records, and you said like, well, that one is a stone cold banger, but Clients is like the Red Chord record. So
yeah,
so I was like,
yeah, well, that's it. Like, so I mean, just to kind of a bit of backstory, me and my friend Lee have been into the Red Card for years and years. We were into, they were still touring Fused Together in Revolving Doors, I think it's called, the
Yeah,
first album.
we're going to say that's the first record, because I did a bit of research on them this week, obviously, and that was the first record from. It was 2 years before the other one. So if you say that was
It's
05,
2002.
3 years before that.
Yeah. So they were still touring that the first time we saw them, and that's got some like. It's all kind of the same walk, but it's not as well produced. There's a lot more kind of energy to it, but it's
First record syndrome, like we talked
exactly.
about.
But I mean, they followed it up with Clients, and it's the second album is always more difficult, and I think they smashed it with that. But arguably, Pray for Eyes, the third album, is
That was the other one I suggested, wasn't it? Was Pray for Eyes. Yeah.
Arguably, that's a better album objectively, but
I did listen to that one a little, not like right through or anything.
Yeah.
But I wanted to compare. I didn't want to come in and talk about that record with it being my only experience of a full record. You know what I mean? I wanted to listen to other bits, and there are moments on Pray for Eyes that I thought were not like deeply removed from Clients, but there was something. It's like they'd honed their sound more at this point. You know what I mean? It felt more controlled.
Yeah, kind of as if like, I mean, Fed Through the Teeth of the Machine's even more like that. I think it's like as if
didn't move on to that one.
It's still a decent album, but it's like,
and they're still putting records out now, I believe, aren't they? They're not split up or anything.
I think they're on a
like a hiatus.
Yeah, but they've been on a hiatus for a very long time. So I think at this point they are kind of more or less broken up. I know they put out an interview a while ago that said basically we aren't broken up. We've been told we're broken up more often than we've said anything about like talking about breaking up or anything like that. But they didn't have anything to put out for a while, I think, and then
Fed Through the Teeth Machine was 2009, and that was their last full-length release.
Yeah.
But I feel like their name has come up. I mean, that's 11 years ago. I've heard them talked about since. Like they must have toured at least since. Then.
Yeah, well, I guess so. I mean, I don't know. I honestly, I don't 100% know what's happening with them, but I feel like I've heard that they now are not doing anything else. That they've kind of, at least for now, they've knocked it on the head.
Yeah. Which, speaking like, because we're comparing, I guess we're moving on to this now.
Yeah.
So the Red Chord did Fused Together Involving Doors in 2000. I'm looking at it now, so I can't get the years wrong. That was 2002. Clients, which is the one that we're specifically looking at today. 2005. Pray for Eyes in 08, and just a year later, Fed Through the Teeth Machine was 09.
Yeah.
And as a band, they've done nothing since. Whereas Umbra Vitae, their first release, Shadow of Life, which incidentally, interesting fact, Umbra Vitae is Latin for the shadow of life.
All right, I see.
It's from a poem. I forget who it's by. I looked into it last week. I wanted to know, what does that name mean? And it's from a poem. And it actually, well, I mean, the direct Latin translation just means in a shadow.
Mm-hmm.
But in the poem, it's used, and within the poem, it's translated as meaning the shadow of life.
Right.
So I don't know how Latin works. There must be some specific like context that changes its meaning or whatever. But so yeah, that's the name of the band and the record are the same in translation.
Mm-hmm.
And but that band, Umbra Vitae, so that's the singer, Jacob Bannon from
Converge, yeah.
Then you've got the guitarist and the bassist from the Red Chord. The other guitarist is from Hatebreed. Well, ex of Hatebreed. He's not Hatebreed.
Which guitarist is it? Have you got his name there?
Steve something. I looked into it. It's sure it's Steve something. I'll tell you what, I'll if I just have a look at Hatebreed on Wiki, past members will probably tell me who it was. Let me see. Past members. Sean Martin.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know that for sure, but he's in the past members, he's the name that jumps out. I'm pretty sure it's him. If I'm wrong, tweet us or tell me on Facebook or email us or something. But yeah, so it's those guys, and it's the drummer from Job for a Cowboy. Now, Job for a Cowboy, as far as I'm aware, are still going, but their lineup, I don't know if there's anyone left from the original lineup, but they're a 4-piece band, and they've got 8 members listed in their past members part. There's 8 people. I do not know which drummer it is that's in Umbra Vitae. All I know is
drummer from
one of the drummers from
Yeah.
Job for a Cowboy is the drummer in Umbra Vitae.
Right.
And I just think it's interesting that you've got all these people from past bands who've come together and they're doing something that only sounds like the Red Chord. Doesn't sound like Hatebreed, it doesn't sound like Converge.
It does sound like the Red Chord, but it sounds like a very stripped version. I don't think it sounds like, I mean, the way you described them to me before we listened to them, was kind of.
Well, I said it was death metal with a hardcore vocal, and to be fair, Bannon does do some proper guttural death stuff on it. But when you listen to it in full, you hear a lot of other influences. Like there's some really obvious black metal sounds in it.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't sound like Job for a Cowboy. It doesn't sound like Hatebreed. It doesn't sound like Converge, but it does sound like the Red Chord, even though it's a less jazz version of it. You know what I mean? With the crazy timings and the key signature changes, and even the chord work. Even a lot of the chord work that was going on in the Red Chord is quite unconventional.
In what? Sorry, in the Red Chord.
In the Red Chord, yeah.
Well, there's a lot of jazz chords and stuff.
That's what I mean.
Is it Gunface from the Red Chord that's in them?
Do you know? I honestly couldn't tell you. The Red Chord didn't ever have any lineup changes, though, did they? So it's. I expect it will be the lead guitar player from whoever that was from.
It's
the
called
Red Chord.
It's called Mike McKenzie, I think, but he's like known as Gunface. He's the reason that so I think it's my Xbox signing name is Moshface,
right?
Because Grenade Face was already taken. But yeah, Gunface.
The personnel on Clients was Gunface, yeah, on guitar, and Kevin Rampelberg was guitar as well, and the bassist was Greg Weeks.
Yeah.
And I think it's this dude, Mike McKenzie Gunface, and Mike Weeks that are in Umbra Vitae.
Yeah.
I think, but I'm going to try and look into it. But for some reason, I can't seem to find any. I couldn't last week when I was looking on the obvious channels. I couldn't find any lineup listings for Umbra Vitae.
Is it not even on their website? No.
Let's have a look. Members: Jacob
Bio.
Bannon, Mike McKenzie and Greg Weeks.
Yeah.
Jacob Bannon, John Rice, Sean Martin.
Yeah, I can see him on the picture. Actually.
So John Rice must be the drummer from Job for a Cowboy.
Yeah.
Because we've got Jacob Bannon, Mike McKenzie, Greg Weeks, and Sean Martin. Exactly who we said. But John Rice, if I look at him.
It's always nice to have confirmation, David.
You're not wrong. Oh, hold on. He was in Behemoth as well, apparently.
Behemoth.
Apparently he was, anyway. Let's have a look at this. So John Rice. But they don't go by their own names in Behemoth, do they? They go by former.
This is good content, man.
Yeah, man. No, he just played live with them. He just played live in 2017 with them. John Rice, but he was the drummer in Job for a Cowboy anyway, I believe. And that's Umbra Vitae. But going back to what we were talking about, I feel like Job for a Cowboy don't sound like Umbra Vitae. No. Or rather, Umbra Vitae don't sound like Job for a Cowboy, but with only having one member, and it's a rhythmic member as well, right? Part of the rhythm section rather than
Yeah.
any kind of melody involved or whatever. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Even though you've got Jacob Bannon singing, and it's obvious it's Jacob Bannon because he's got such a distinctive voice, it still doesn't sound anything like Converge.
No, but it does.
There is zero Hatebreed influence in it to me. Sean Martin, I think, is kind of guitarist for hire, so to speak. I get the impression he's not writing, and if he is, he's obviously very, very good at writing within the style of the band he's in, because there's no Hatebreed sounds in Umbra Vitae at all. So I think I get the impression from Umbra Vitae that Gumface is probably writing most of that music.
Yeah, probably.
So
what
were your sorry, man?
Brain's gone to shit. What was I going to say? Yeah. So my immediate thoughts on Umbra Vitae was that I don't know. There was nothing that stood out. It wasn't like Red Cod to me. It isn't the easiest thing to listen to necessarily, but there's a lot of hooks, and there's a lot of memorable moments. Every song will have something that makes me think that's pretty fucking cool. And there wasn't really any of that for me with Umbra Vitae. It was kind of like, I mean, it's like I'm not a massive Converge fan, and I know that's kind of sacrilege, but I've never been that into them, and it's kind of like they converged the Red Chord to me. Like Converge has a lot of kind of that, the there's a few different kind of strains of hardcore. One of them is your straight up kind of like Madball, Hatebreed,
like,
Biohazard kind of sound.
Yeah, that's like East Coast hardcore, innit? And this is more like West Coast hardcore, if not even like the London hardcore thing. Like Gallows and Converge, I think, share a lot.
Yeah,
vocally at least, and Gallows,
vocally,
very UK hardcore.
I think the thing with Converge is they go a bit outside the box. They have a few weird time chord changes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but not in a way that I enjoy. Not in something that I want to listen to. Whereas when I'm listening to the Red Chord, I'm expecting what they're doing.
Yeah.
And
what you're going to get with the Red Chord.
Exactly. It's not like predictable, but
fuck no, it's frenetic as shit.
Exactly, but it's there and you're expecting it, like I say, and because of that, I think that's why I like them. I like what they do. I like the way that they do it.
Yeah, and it's very well presented. Also, I think it comes.
The production's really good as well on
really
clients, especially
the music. It really complements the music. Like everything that the production is done with that band in mind. It's not just your standard. Well, when you're producing metal, you do it like this.
Yeah.
In that case, it's like when you're producing the Red Chord, you do it like this.
Yeah.
And so I thought production wise on clients, it was very powerful, but you could hear everything that was going on.
It's really tight, but you can tell. Like, I mean, whereas nowadays you'll get super ridiculously tight production, but you can't tell that he's playing a real drum kit. On that, you can tell he's playing a real drum kit, and it's like you can hear every ghost note that he's playing. You can hear like the little fills that he's putting in between things.
Yeah, man. There were moments I thought that the kick sound, especially, it was like, how long did they spend just perfecting that kick sound? Because it sits perfectly in the mix, but it's got just the right like frequencies involved. It's not taking anything away from the bass guitar. It's not, when it hits, it's not muddying up in it. It's super clear but super powerful. And I guess for what he's playing, it had to be done that way. And that's what I mean about how it was produced for that band, for that song, for that record, not just your standard. When you're doing heavy drums, you do it this way. It was more, well, we have to think outside of that set of parameters, because we're not just doing heavy drums, we're doing jazz drums as well. And I thought it was really well produced. I don't know who produced it, actually. I didn't look into it.
He's a guy called Zeus. He does quite a lot of that kind of heavy, extreme metal type stuff.
Yeah. He obviously knows his shit.
Yeah, man.
Bollocks.
Yeah, so I don't know. I keep doing this thing where I sound like I'm really down on something, down on one or the other. Like,
oh, dude, for the last, you don't listen back often to the podcast, do you?
I do on occasion, but I don't get a lot of time because I mean, when I'm walking around my walk, I can't concentrate on a podcast that I have to actually listen to. So I put things on where I'm like, I know the voices and they just kind of mutter away in the background.
I mean, I listen back to these, and for the last two, like when we did the first week, we did Viscera versus
Heart of a Coward.
Heart of a Coward, yeah. And listening back to that about 100 times, I said, well, I like Heart of a Coward. I'm not saying it's bad.
Yeah.
And I just sounded like I was saying Viscera's awesome and Heart of a Coward's terrible. And it wasn't like that at all. But I know exactly what you mean. You feel like if you preferred one, or if you've got some good points to mention about one, it's an insult against the other.
Yeah.
But I don't think it comes across that way.
I hope not. Because, I mean, I didn't dislike listening to Viscera. And it is, I mean, and Viscera, Umbra Vitae.
Yeah.
And it's short enough as well that anything that's offensive is out of the way.
That's it. It's a tight, like 26-minute record.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, especially when you're talking about like death and black metal stuff, that's really short.
Yeah.
That's
like,
really, really short.
The songs themselves are short.
Yeah, there's one that's, I can't remember which one it is. I did believe it. It's just because I was fucking boozed up yesterday and we had to turn to shit today. But I did actually like look into, oh, this is the longest song on the record. And it's, I don't remember which one it is, but it's formulated in such a way that it's longer just because it happened to be longer. Not because they've decided we're going to put this huge section in the middle for no reason. It just happens to be a longer song because it organically went that way. But generally, you're talking about like 2.5 minutes a piece.
Yeah. I mean, they're not much longer on the Red Card album, really. There's a couple
No, that's only 35 minutes.
Yeah, there's a couple of like 5-minute tracks. There's one, the ending track, the big one with all the hair metal guitars and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was one of my standouts. He was
dead when I got there.
Yeah, he was dead when I got there. That's one of my standouts. That to me, and I know I'm probably alone in it, but that to me had like a real Load Metallica vibe to it. Maybe.
I mean, I imagine what they were thinking was, people say we can't play this kind of shit, let's fucking play this kind of shit.
Yeah, and it was as an instrumental, it was really
it was big sounding.
It's huge, but it was the least complicated track on it. Like if you think, when you've got vocals on and stuff, if they're going all for lack of a better term, they're being very complex and complicated in what they're playing and writing. You would have thought with an instrumental, it's going to be a little bit more. It's going to lean into that more. So they're kind of not showing off, but the music has to speak for itself. But they went completely the opposite way. That musically, it was far more simple, and it stood out to me completely. That track was. I really enjoyed that. My standouts on that record, to be honest, that one for a start. He was dead when I got there, and there's one called The Upper Deck.
Oh yeah, Upper Decker.
That was awesome. And Love on the Concrete, I think, was the other one.
Yeah,
it might have been Blue Line Cretin.
See,
I thought both of them it might have been, but that, yeah, excellent.
I struggled to find a song on there that I'm not really into. I mean, it might be kind of because I'm going back to it retrospectively, like 10 years after or whatever. Well, no, fucking 15 years after.
Yeah, man.
And I'm like, I'm going through them all, and I know all the songs already. That might be why this, there's not really a lapse on it for me. But going in, the opener, Fixation and the Plastics, Lay the Tarp. Oh man, the riffs on Lay the Tarp.
Lay the Tarp, yeah, Lay the Tarp is musically, I think it's probably the one that's got the most groove.
Groove, definitely. That's what I was going to say. There's like, when I've seen them live, they always make a comment about the beat downs at the end and stuff like that, where like they say, we wrote this for you guys to party because this isn't the kind of stuff that we write, but have a blast
as well, because it does seem like they were having fun with it at that point.
Yeah.
Standouts on Shadow of Life. Did you notice actually, like just talking about the tracks on Shadow of Life, they've got this weird thing going on with alliteration. Like every song, it's decadence dissolves, ethereal emptiness, atheist aesthetic, mantra of madness, fear is a fossil, polluted paradise, intimate inferno, and then randomly return to zero.
I hadn't noticed, but now you've pointed it out to me.
It just struck me as strange. It's like they were going for this alliteration theme throughout, but then they just gave up on it for one song. Because like the last track, Shadow of Life, fair enough, that's the name of the record. If they
Yeah.
were all done with titled with alliteration, except the title track of the record, you'd kind of think like, well, that's a choice.
Well,
But
we can call it
randomly-
Return to Rero if you like.
Return to Rero.
Oh yeah, going full Wesley Snipes there. Good job, man.
But standout tracks for me on that, I remember the first time I heard it, Atheist Aesthetic really stood out. But the more I listened to the record, that kind of just became another track. Fear is a Fossil, Polluted Paradise, and Intimate Inferno as a 3-track run. I thought they were fantastic. In fact, I think it's either Intimate Inferno or Return to Zero that's the longer track. And as a 3-track run, I thought they were great. Fear is a Fossil, especially. That was
Intimate Inferno's 3:40, so that's like kind of twice as long as anything else on the record.
Yeah, I think that might be the one. But that as a 3-track run, I thought that was great.
Yeah. It's not by any means unlistenable or anything like that, and it was always going to be kind of a hard task for me personally coming up against clients as anything other than second best, because like I say, it's one of my classic albums. But
I think if I was to choose,
there's nothing that
one,
super stands out for me on it, like that I can think. Right, yeah,
is it a record you'd revisit?
I might give it a go later on once I've kind of had a chance to let it kind of settle. But
I think I would probably come back to it. Maybe not like it's not going to be an every weeker,
no,
but once every couple of months, if I'm looking for something different, I feel like it's a record I'll probably come back to. But it's also a record that I think at 26 minutes, I wouldn't even bother like, oh, I remember that track being good. I'd just fucking slam it on from the beginning.
exactly. I think that's the thing, because all the tracks are. I use them as an example quite often, but Walls of Jericho, they have short songs, and it's like a metal stroke hardcore sound that they've got.
Yeah.
But they do it perfectly. They get everything that they need to get done in a short space of time. It doesn't feel short, and they have enough kind of hooks and whatnot to keep you in. Whereas this doesn't. It hasn't had anything in it where I'm like, I need to listen to that song over and over again. When the songs come on, I'm kind of like, oh, I kind of recognize this one, but it's not necessarily that I would pick it out of a lineup.
Yeah, I guess I see what you're saying. Like for me, when I listen, I must have listened to that record through maybe 3 times. And at no point was I like looking forward to a specific song coming up. But there was like 1 or 2 moments that stand out, and I'd be like, fuck, I remember this from last time I listened to it. I enjoyed this. And I'd have a look. You only going to bed, baby? Love you, beautiful. And yeah, there'd be moments, and it'd be like when it came on, I'd be like, shit, what's this track called again? And that's when I'd look. And like I say, Fear is a Fossil, Polluted Paradise, and Intimate Inferno. It was always one of them 3 that made me look at the title of the track. Other than that, to be honest, I'd glance now and then to see, like, where am I in the record? Because there's a lot of this record where there's no breaks in between either.
Yeah.
I remember at one point, one listen through, I put it on from the beginning, and something happened, like one of them moments where you look like, oh, that was cool, what track's this? And I was expecting it to be Mantra of Madness, thinking that's like the 2nd or 3rd track. And I was like 7 tracks in, I was at Intimate Inferno again.
Yeah.
I've been listening to this record for 12 minutes, and I'm 7 tracks in or something like that. So you can't even tell when one song stops and another one starts. Not for every track, but like there are a lot that you don't realize it's finished and the next one's begun.
Yeah. But I mean, people start bands not necessarily to change the face of music. people start bands because they enjoy what they're doing, and if that's
Well,
the sound that they want to make, that's the album they want to make.
100%. And on one of the metal podcasts I listened to, I can't remember if it was the Metal Hammer one or if it was That's Not Metal. I think it was That's Not Metal. They were talking about Jacob Bannon specifically and how everything he does is like 100% for him. There's no going in half-assed. So if he's doing this band that's like different to Converge, he's giving it everything he's got. And I think you can hear that. Like they've gone in, not just him, just using him as the example. I think as a band, they've gone in and said, like, we're going to write this song because this is what this band does.
Yeah, and I feel like everybody that's in the band is kind of stoked to be working with the people that they're working with at that point.
Oh, yeah. I reckon that this is a band that's probably been on the horizon for years, like, because these dudes would have known each other for years, and I bet they've all talked about doing something together, and now it's happened.
They'll have all played on like festival lineups together and stuff.
Without a doubt. I mean, one thing I would say for it, although it's not going to be something that I'd revisit like every week, I do hope that it's not just a one-off.
A one-off, yeah.
I hope they do more, because it'd be interesting to see how it evolves, if nothing else. Sure. But I'll tell you one thing, right? As a snappy 26 minutes, it was a relief over last week when we did Heaven Shall Burn.
Oh, man, it was a slog, wasn't it, dude?
That genuinely felt like, because for this podcast, we do it for fun. Like I say, we're not journos. All the other metal podcasts I listen to, they're journalists. They work in the industry. We're just two dudes that like metal. And we like...
When I'm listening to metal, usually I'm doing my actual job. I'm posting shit.
Exactly the same for me, man. I'm punching windows out my truck, fucking getting into it. And we're just two dudes who were just working Joes, and we like metal, and we thought it'd be fun to talk about it. And we get some decent listening figures, so I'm assuming, thank you for that, everyone, by the way, but I'm assuming other people like hearing two ordinary dudes talk about it. Because
either that, or we've got basically the entire population of the Earth once.
Yeah, everyone gets one.
Yeah,
but I feel
I don't like it.
Well, I feel like we're looking at this from an angle like we're the dudes who buy the CD. We're not writing about them. We're not interviewing them and giving them like in-depth reviews and telling people what to buy.
I have a physical plastic copy of clients.
Exactly. We're the dudes that buy the albums. We're the dudes that buy the T-shirts and the merch and go to the shows and stuff. We're just two dudes that like it. And Heaven Shall Burn, from the point of dudes who just do it for fun, felt like I was doing homework. Like I had to listen to it, even when I didn't want to. Whereas this stuff, it was like, I'm going to listen to this anyway.
Yeah, like I was so happy that you picked Clients, because it's an album I haven't listened to in maybe like 4 or 5 years. But I was so happy to get back on it. I was like, oh man, I missed this jam.
That's the thing. I must admit, there was a part of me that was thinking for this week, we've had 2 weeks where we've done like very heavy stuff. Viscera versus Job. I keep nearly saying Job for a Cowboy, Heart of a Coward.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun because they're both bands that I really like. Viscera especially is a newer band. Like I was fucking blown away by that first record. And Heart of a Coward, as I said at the time, are a band that it's not like I'm an expert on them, but I've never heard anything by them that I didn't like. So that was a lot of fun. Then Heaven Shall Burn came up and I was like, I haven't listened to these dudes since fucking uni,
Yeah.
But I wasn't really into it then.
No.
And then when that second record that we looked at, the newer one, what the fuck was it called? Of Hope and Temptation or something like that. When fuck me, when I saw how many tracks I had to listen to on that record. Yeah. And part of what we do is like we've got to listen to it from start to finish, so because like we're talking about, is there a flow? And so it's not like just pick the odd track. Fuck me, man, that was like 3 days straight it took me to get through that record.
No, I listened to it twice in one day, and then I listened to it once the next day, and that was all I could manage, because every time I looked at the length of the track listing, it killed me a bit inside.
Oh, exactly. The most I managed with Heaven Shall Burn was that first record. I don't remember the name of it now. Iconoclast, wasn't it? Part 1.
Part 1, yeah.
When we listened to that through, I managed that and about half of the other record in one go. And then the next day I listened to the back end of that second record. And on the third day, I think I tried to listen to the second record in full and I just couldn't do it.
No, it's a slog, man.
Yeah, it was hard work. So if anything, this week, doing Umbra Vitae and the Red Chord, not only was it music I was more into, so it was more fun, but at 26 and 35 minutes, in an hour, I'd covered both. And I wanted to go back and listen to them both again. So, yeah, I think if anyone is not familiar with either, you would be surprised at how different they are. Like, if you're not into the Red Chord, if you're not into black metal, you're not. If you like black metal and death metal, I reckon you'd really dig Umbra Vitae. But then you might listen to the Red Chord and think, what is this crazy jazz shit?
Yeah.
But if you just like the Red Chord already, but you hadn't heard of Umbra Vitae, you might listen to that and think, fucking hell, this is nothing like the Red Chord. It's far more straightforward. But I think looking at them both just from a perspective of, do you like heavy music? I think they've both got an appeal, but very different. Don't go into one thinking it'll be like the other.
What the fuck? Random videos playing. It was just I've opened up Last FM and this fucking random video screen opened up and started playing some fucking, I don't know, some Latin shite music. Not that Latin music's shite, just this was shite and Latin. It just happened to have tick both those boxes.
It was shite and Latin.
Yeah.
I think we just found the name for today's episode. Shite and Latin.
Yeah, there's nothing else in this podcast that relates to that, but there you go.
But did you see how I named the other ones?
I believe I remember. I don't remember what they were, but I saw them at the time.
The first one was Die Full of Spiders, because we talked about if you breathed in loads of spiders, you wouldn't die full of spiders, it wouldn't kill you. And then the second one was Jazz Mag on a Mattress, because we talked about how you found porn at work.
Yeah, man.
And
living that dream.
This is only the third since we've been coming back and doing it regularly, I think. So, yeah, this one's going to be called Shite and Latin, I think. That's a great name.
I think I've already picked my albums for next time.
Oh, well, that'll be good, because I think it would be nice if people know, like if anyone's listening regularly and they know kind of what we're looking at next time.
Yeah.
So what's the crack? It's going to be more difficult for me this week, actually, because I think you can't get a straight answer out of my boss at all, but I think I've got the week off. So it's going to be difficult for me to listen to records over and over again. But obviously I'll put the effort in.
I'm between two albums.
How heavy are we going? Are we sticking on heavy?
Heavy. Not the same kind of heavy.
Okay.
So one of them is the new Acacia strain.
Oh, C.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I can listen to that. I was listening this week to I Breathed in the Smoke Deeply and Smiled, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
It
tasted like summer.
Tasted like death, yeah.
That's it. So that's the first album, the newer album, obviously.
Yeah.
And I'm between two albums. So have you ever listened to Bury Your Dead?
Yeah, man.
So I'm between Beauty in the Breakdown and Cover Your Tracks, which is an album of covers of their own albums, but they've given everything a Tom Cruise's film title. So there's Top Gun, Vanilla Sky, Mission Impossible, Eyes Wide Shut, Magnolia, The Outsiders, Mission Impossible 2, The Colour of Money, Risky Business, Legend, All the Right Moves, and Losing It.
But what did you say? This is covers of their own?
It's like re-recordings of older songs.
But they've renamed them all with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, so the original titles on the album, You Had Me at Hello, Sunday's Best, Tuesday Night Fever, Dragged Out and Shot, So Fucking Blues, Burn Baby Burn, 33 RPM, Camo Is My Favourite Colour, 69 Times the Charm, 10-Minute Romance, Mosh and Roll.
No. So what's the name of the one with the Tom Cruise cover?
Cover Your Tracks.
Right.
And it's really good. There's a lot, and both albums have fucking bangers on. It's
you know all the songs of their own that they've covered.
Yeah.
Do they appear in the same order on a different record? Like, have they literally just re-recorded one
No,
full
I don't
album?
think so. I think the other album. I mean, the other album only has 10 tracks on it anyway, so it couldn't be track for track. But I think it's kind of like 50-50. I don't think it's. Oh, wait a second. There's a little explanation on this. Mosh and Roll, Tuesday Night Fever, So Fucking Blues were re-recorded as Losing It, Mission Impossible, and Mission Impossible 2 for 2004's cover your tracks.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the jams.
That's a really odd choice, but I like the sound of it. I like
it's good. Beauty in the Breakdown, I think that has. So it's got House of Straw, which is awesome. 12th Stroke of Midnight, which is awesome. I think I'm going to go with that one. But if you want to, for extracurricular learning, go for cover your tracks as well. Beauty and Breakdown is the one.
So it's Bury Your Dead, did you say it was?
Bury Your Dead, the band. Beauty and the Breakdown would be the album I would say to listen to. But if you want to go for some extracurricular, go for cover your tracks. The albums after that, I'm not sure if immediately after that. I think Bury Your Dead might have still been the same vocalist. But then,
well, Mosh and Roll was a record they did in 2011.
Yeah, that's a different. Oh, is that when?
Then there's a song called Bury Your
Mosh
Dead
and Roll
called Mosh and Roll on Cover Your Tracks.
Yeah.
Well, Cover Your Tracks, according to Spotify at least, Cover Your Tracks was their first record. 2004.
It might have been if the other album isn't 30 minutes, it might not register as an album though.
Right. So what's the other one called?
The first album's called You Had Me at Hello, but that's not the one we're listening to.
Yeah. Sorry. I don't know why, but Spotify's just put them out of order. So I've got Cover Your Tracks.
It might have been uploaded later or something.
Yeah, Cover Your Tracks, Alive, Beauty in the Breakdown, Bury Your Dead. And those are 2004, 5, 6, and 8, respectively. And then randomly, You Had Me at Hello 2001.
Alive is a live album, and it's really fucking good. It came with a DVD, and it's incredible to watch. There's just this 1 second where the guitarist does a guitar spin, lumps it straight into the singer's head, and it's just pissing blood for the rest of the set. And then he has to go and get his head stapled shut immediately after the gig. But he plows through the rest of the gig like a trooper. It's amazing.
So which ones are we looking at?
Beauty in the Breakdown. Beauty in the Breakdown's the main one. That's the one that
Cover Your Tracks as like extra credit.
Yeah, extra credit.
And the Acacia Strain C.
To be fair, Bury Your Dead is still a decent album. It's nothing personal, all right, but they've got a different singer on that one. And Mosh and Roll is good again. I believe, yeah. So the original vocalist, Matt Brusso, he's back on Mosh and Roll. And he was a teacher, and he went I think full-time teaching. So that's why he left the band. But obviously, he decided either he could do both or he liked Mosh too much. But yeah, it's Beauty in the Breakdown, good album.
Right. Well, we've got the Acacia Strain wrong as well, because C, D, and E were all singles from the record. It Comes in Waves.
No, so we is that the latest release?
The last full record they did was It Comes in Waves, and that was released on December 26th of last year. But since then, they have released singles this year called C, D, and E, and their latest single is called A. But each one of these singles has got more than one song on it, and none of them seem to be on the record It Comes in Waves.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. They're not off It Comes in Waves. There's like new releases come out. It's just I'm not sure how it is.
2 or 3 tracks a piece.
Right.
So the last full-length record they did was It Comes in Waves. But like I say, they've done on C, the single C, it's got Crossgates and I Breathed in the Smoke. E has got Solace and Serenity and The Lucid Dream. D is Feed a Pigeon, Breed a Rat and Seeing God. and then A, which literally just dropped, I think, like 2 days ago. That's got Inverted Person and Master.
Let me see a second. In that case,
Because like if we're looking at a full record, it'd have to be It Comes in Waves. Otherwise, we've only got like 2 tracks. Unless we look at C, D, E, and A as one big release.
well,
'cause
that's
that'd
what I
be
was
like 8
thinking,
tracks.
but I'm not sure if I'm down with that idea. Let me have another look then. No. Oh, that's blown my plan out of water because I really want to listen to something similar. So, like,
Did you choose those 2 because like the Acacia Strain and Bury Your Dead are like hourly similar?
yeah. Although, I guess, let me see if there's anything that links the members. Right, so is there
Tell you what,
anybody?
while you look at that,
Actually, do you know what? The album that we're listening to,
yeah,
Beauty in the Breakdown, it has Mark Tremonti on it, so we can do an Alter Bridge album if they got a new thing out recently.
their last release was the one I talked about a few weeks back with that tune. Oh fuck me, what's it called? Their last record,
Walk the Sky?
Walk the Sky, was their last record, which
That's
I think was
2019.
last year, yeah. And there's a song on there, Wouldn't You Rather, that I talked about a while back. But we can do that if you want. Like,
Is it a decent album? Will I enjoy listening to it, or will I have to
I
persevere?
haven't listened to the whole album, so I guess it's a
All
good
right,
excuse
okay.
for us to do that. It will be an odd comparison, I guess, to Bury Your Dead, but that doesn't mean it can't be done. It's interesting just to compare this shit because we're listening to different things all the time. So it's,
Yeah,
I
I
guess
guess if
we don't even do them as a comparison, so to speak. The only reason the others are big
no,
comparisons is because of shared members, or like in the case of Heaven Shall Burn, it was the same band.
yeah, well, in this case, there is a shared member on a couple of the tracks, or on one of the tracks, but I mean that's something to compare at least for that, because we can analyze that track particularly and just say, what's the similarities between Alter
Be it
Bridge, maybe.
guitar stuff, yeah.
Yeah,
Or there's the option of Mark Tremonti's solo work, which is often heavier.
yeah. Has he released anything recently?
Let's have a look. Mark Tremonti. Why is it giving me? There we go. Mark Tremonti. His last record was. Why won't it show me? It appears on. Fuck your appears on. I don't want to see appears on. I want to see. What the fuck? Why is it? Fucking Spotify's being gay.
Studio albums, 2018. A Dying Machine was his last release, so that's even older.
Yeah, there was. I've got the first 3 Mark Tremonti records, but why is it? If I go to the Mark Tremonti artist page, he gets 0 monthly listens, and it's just a list of what he appears on. He's got none of his own work on it, which is weird. Why the fuck would it show me that?
Right, what we got? May. So we've got Havoc have apparently released another album, Vader, Witchcraft, and Oceans, Brant Bjork, Destruction, Forgotten Tomb, Green Carnation, Marcus Carrison's Freefall, Mekong Delta, Naglafar, Oathbreaker, that might be actually only an EP, but it's a possibility. Secrets of the Moon, Winterfelleth.
Do you know, it's funny that we're having a little bit of trouble because like there's one you definitely want to do, and finding something along those lines. I was gonna, for my next one, earlier this week I listened to Nobody's Daughter by Paul.
Oh,
Got
sorry,
it?
man. Crossfaith releasing. It's an EP, but I fucking love Crossfaith.
Yeah.
Yeah, where are we? But that comes out on the 22nd, so we'll only have a short time to listen to it.
I reckon we can do that.
But it's in the works. But yeah, I think if that is actually getting released, then right, let me go back a second. What's it called? Cross-faith species. They're like they get like insanely heavy, but it's got like pretty catchy, groovy stuff. The Japanese.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, it's
Well, they just put out a single.
yeah. Well, this EP is penned for release. It's only 5 tracks, but I mean,
We
why
can
not?
still do that.
But that's penned for release on the 22nd.
So today's the 17th. That's 5.
So it'd be 5 days from now.
So it'll be like, what, Friday?
Yeah.
And if we record on like, well, I don't know, next weekend, Saturday, Sunday, whatever.
Yeah, it gives it.
Do that.
Yeah, I'll just So if you smash Bury Your Dead, Beauty in the Breakdown, and Crossfaith when that comes out.
Yeah, man, we can do that. That's mint.
Cool.
Because for my next one, I was thinking like I'm going to take it away from metal and do something more like
rocky. Yeah, I was thinking that myself, but then it just got me hooked on that kind of like heavy groove stuff.
No, that's cool, man. That's cool. Because what I was thinking was I listened to Nobody's Daughter by Hole earlier this week, but that came out in like 2011, something like that, 2012. And my original idea was I was going to do Live Through This, which is like the seminal Hole record, versus Nobody's Daughter. But then I didn't know if it would fit because the newer of the two is still like 9 years old.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if that was worth doing.
Is there any other kind of Riot Girl or grungy type stuff that's got released recently?
I mean, this is the thing. I was going to like look into what my options were there, because I do want to take it away. Like, as much as we like the heavy stuff, there's a lot of other stuff we like as well. So I was like, it'd be nice to do something different. But then again, I was thinking afterwards, like, I mean, we don't really have any rules as such. Does it matter that it's 9 years old? They can still be compared.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I'll think about that for next time. But so for now, though, we're going to do Crossfaith. We'll only have a couple of days. We'll do that EP, and in the meantime, we'll do the Beauty in the Breakdown.
Yeah, Crossfaith, Species, and Beauty in the Breakdown.
That sounds good, man. So I will. I'll do all the sign-off bullshit then, I guess.
Yeah, it's about time.
Yeah, what the fuck are you messing around at, man? You cunt. So if we've got anything wrong, or if you want to suggest anything, it'd be cool if someone wants to suggest a record for us to look at, and maybe we'll find one that we can compare, or even if you've got two that you want us to compare, or if you've got an idea for anything else we can talk about, or just want to get in touch and tell us we're a pair of cunts.
Yeah, say, hey, you big old bag of dicks.
Eat a bag of dicks, you fucking fairies. You can get us on Facebook. Just search Heavy, all caps, or you can go at Phil and Dave EA on Facebook. Once you're on Facebook, you'll find pinned to the top of the page, you'll find all the links to the other shit. But if you can't be bothered looking at that, or if you don't want to use Facebook, you can get us on Twitter. We are &_excellent. I put a tweet out this week, actually, mentioned Malevolence. And Malevolence liked the tweet, which was, not exciting in any way, but I thought worth mentioning.
Hey, top guys, why not?
Yeah, man, they seem pretty cool. If you want to watch, nothing's been uploaded there for a long time, but we do have a backlog of the stupid games we play that I'm going to see if Wayne will start re-releasing. The plan was he was going to re-release them all on this new YouTube channel, but he's only put one episode out in like 6 months, and I don't know what he's fucking around at, but pull your finger out, Wayne, you prick. Just go on YouTube and search Bite Back Media. You'll find us on there, and there'll be videos on there from Wayne doing his wrestle stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Just playing with himself on YouTube. And Bav and Fluff, there's a bunch of Screen Masters content on there as well. And obviously, we're hoping to get more and more up there as we go on. It's a bit difficult at the moment. You can get us on Patreon if you would.
We should start Twitch streaming us or YouTube streaming us playing while you're like rage quitting on
yeah, man, that'd be
Jason
fun.
or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, I won't rage quit on that. That'd just be like a 40-minute video of me hiding in a wardrobe.
Yeah. This is unexciting. No, it's It's
love
Sniper
that.
Elite,
Oh, yes,
isn't it?
I
Where
think
you're fucking
Sniper Elite
launching
4,
troop
man.
controller.
Oh man, that it was so fucking infuriating. I shot Gav in the back of the fucking head, and then he stood up and turned round. I shot him in the back of the fucking head, and he stood up and turned around. So I shot him again, square in the chest, and he didn't go down. And then he shot me once, and I was dead. What the fuck happened there? So you can get us on Patreon. You can get us on Patreon if you would so desire. If you want to donate, that'd be lovely. Again, Patreon, just search Bite Back Media. You can email us specifically at philanddaveea@gmail.com, because sooner or later Wayne's going to find a way that I can get into that email account. I'm hoping when I go in, there's going to be like 100 emails on there that we get to answer and talk about, but I'm willing to bet there won't be any.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to this, then you've probably already got us on one podcast platform or another, but you can get us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and the new Google one as well, I believe. All the links are on Facebook. Get in touch. But the most important thing, and you don't know how much it helps, wherever you find us, like, follow, subscribe, leave a review.
Send us a $5.
Yeah, dick pics. Just tell us what's been going on. Tell everyone you know, your mum, people you don't like. Do you know what? I just want people to get in touch. So I don't even care if you get in touch to tell us how shit we are at this. I'll still read it out and we'll still laugh at it.
Yeah.
So just get in touch.
And you're stuck in the house, so don't give us any excuses. I know that some of you have got back to work now this last week, but don't pretend like you've got better things to do. You can't go to the pub properly anymore.
And how much time can you really spend with your kids and your family without?
How much time do you want to? Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. So, save your kids some physical abuse and email us instead. And then if you want to, you can get back to it and your kids. It's up to you. That's your call.
It's your call, yeah.
I ain't here to judge. So
we are not condoning that, but
no, I don't. I mean, I'm not.
You do you. You do you.
That's it. I'm just saying, like, if that's what you were going to do anyway, give them a 5-minute break while you write an email.
Yeah, we're all heart.
Yeah, man. He's a real keeper. I reckon we did a thing. We've been really laid back and subdued today. I feel like we haven't been nearly as exciting or just making crap jokes as we normally would. But I'm hungover, and you're on a sugar come down.
Yeah,
it's 1:45 on a fucking Monday.
Yeah, I'm trying not to upset my cat.
Yeah, man, I haven't heard it growl at you today. So
no, there's been no hissing, no sneezing. She's just snuggled up on my leg, covered in fur and bits of cack, because she doesn't clean herself very good. She's old and she's old. She can smell fine. She's got no nose, but she can smell fine. She can see fine. She just can't hear anything.
She can't hear the dirt. Then she doesn't know where to lick.
Yeah,
she can't hear it.
I spend like 5 minutes every time I come into. I mean, this is by the by, and it's just gibbering on for bullshit. But just quickly, yeah, I come in, I get her food ready. I spend 5 minutes wiping her face and stuff with a pet wipe, because she doesn't. Her nose is a mess and her eyes are a mess and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, just give her a quick like. I think she appreciates it.
Over.
Yeah, I think she appreciates it, like as if I'm like the mother cat or something.
Zep jumped up on me earlier on. Yesterday it was. I was on the bench and she jumped up on the preacher bar while I was like leaned over it. So we were proper like face to face. And as much as I don't mind jumping up on me and I'll play with her and all the rest of it, just as she got that close, she breathed on me and nearly fucking vomited. She fucking stinks. It's not good, man. Honestly, I mean, you bath her, but I can't clean the inside of her mouth. You give her those weird dog treats, that are supposed
the green
to
things, the mint ones.
that like meant to freshen their breath a bit. They don't do fuck all. And Rach even bought her like a dog toothbrush and this liver flavored toothpaste. And for a while there, Rach was brushing her teeth like every couple of days or however often you're supposed to do it. And it made no fucking difference. All right, she didn't smell like her own arsehole anymore, but she smelled like fucking liver toothpaste instead. It was fucking disgusting. She reeks. And she's got this fascination with getting as close to my fucking face as she can.
Oh, just out of interesting points. Past members, I'm not going to reel them all off, but numbers-wise, Bury Your Dead past members, 18.
Fucking hell.
That's not including the
Jesus.
ones currently in the lineup.
Wow, that's a band. Is there anyone left from the original? Is there anyone left from the first 4 lineups, if they've had that many?
I think... Oh, no, the first album had a different singer on as well, didn't he?
Fuck, that sounds like this isn't the same band anymore.
No, the vocalist on the Cover Your Tracks and Beauty in the Breakdown, though, that's my favourite dude, so this is the one. Anyway, let's fuck this shit. Let's go home. Well, I'm at home. I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah, man, I'm going to do the same. I'm not going to go to sleep. I'm going to put YouTube on and tell myself that it's okay because I've slept most of the day, like on and off.
I had a quick nap before this podcast, but I'm just going to go and rub myself into a coma.
Nice one. Pull the middle out yourself.
Yeah. That's my plan.
Nothing wrong with that.
Try not to shake Catherine awake.